Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. But hey, we're here, and like Will alluded to, we're going to talk about this game because on the surface, the score looked ugly, atrocious, or the way you could look at it. But on the flip side, I mean, there was some. You had to search through it. You had to comb through, but there were some positives.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Man. I said, I'm going to the game. Let me check and see who this is.
Who said that?
Is that?
Cameron.
Hey. Oh, wow. Going to the Washington versus Philly. We'll definitely pray.
He's going to the game in Philly, dude.
Don't wear any burgundy, bro.
Yeah, you got
Don't wear any burgundy. I wouldn't even do that. I'm telling you that right now. But look, hey, let's get into it. 37-3. Will. So I was out of town. You know that. I was in Chicago celebrating my birthday. I did not get to see the game initially, thankfully, maybe.
Right.
But when I was updating the score while I was at the Cubs game, I was sitting there fuming. Just first that I couldn't even see it, and then you're just like 16-0, 30-0, 37. What is going on? Like I honestly what? What? What can you say? What can you say? Will, I mean, did you watch it, or were you able to turn it off? I know we were texting a little bit.
This was the Sunday to be away from your TV, Sean.
Yes, absolutely.
I was thrilled that I had to go to one of my kids' birthday parties for the second half of the game.
Yeah.
And I watched the opening drive of the second half. They're moving the ball, and I'm sitting there going, all right, the baby just woke up. Maybe I can play this off a little bit. Maybe, he's kind of fussing. Maybe we won't go. Yeah. And then Sam Howell throws an interception in the end zone. I said, let's go.
Time to go. Hurry it up.
Yep, we're going.
I love it. Yeah, no, it was one of those things. And it was so funny because I'm in Chicago. Obviously, I don't see the game. Then I see the score afterwards. And I'm already mad because I wasn't trying to go to the Cubs game. And as you know, with Twins, certain plans get kind of catered to certain people. So I'm going along with this. So I'm just not in a good mood at this particular point, although we're celebrating my birthday. So it's kind of split.
Yes.
But in Chicago, walking down the street, I see a guy decked out in Buffalo's Bills gear. Now I had some Washington on because the game was on. And so I walk and I just tuck my head and I just start shaking my head. And he kind of chuckles. He's like, sorry, man. Sorry. But yeah. And he's like, yo, you from here? You live here? And I was like, nah, man. I live near DC. I came out here and I was so excited for this game. It's my birthday weekend. My guy patted me on the shoulder. He said, well, at least you got 3 points. And I just walked away. And I was like, what can I say?
Yeah, you can't.
You're absolutely right. Oh, God. But Will, I mean, I think even more than that was when you started to hear the stats. And I had people telling me Sam Howell threw 4 interceptions. Sam Howell, had 9 sacks. He's holding on to the ball too long. But the biggest thing that somebody said to me was Brian Robinson had 10 carries and he had 70 yards. Mm-hmm. And then going back and looking at the game, we were not out of any of this game. Like these drives, we were driving down the field when we ran the ball. But then all of a sudden you get to 3rd and 2 and we need to be in a 4 wide receiver shotgun spread formation. What is going on with that, Will?
Well, I'm glad you bring that up because if you think back to the last couple of years, I'm the one who was always defending Scott Turner and his play calling.
Yep.
And I get yelled at a lot by people for that the last couple of years.
I yelled at
you. You were one of the kinder ones, though. I'll give you that. But yeah, and yet that's a situation where like we're getting our butt whooped in the game. It's 16-0, but it was also like, well, we're also moving the ball. We're making some bad decisions or bad plays are happening while getting into field goal range or scoring range. But it's like, okay, we got a chance. And then, so I think the game plan was questionable.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. There were some things that were working, especially the fact that it was raining during this game. Now, that didn't stop Buffalo from slinging it all over the place, but Buffalo's a little bit of a more established offense than us. Right. They've got some continuity there. Ken Dorsey took over, so he's in his second year, after Dable left. And so there's, so it's the system has stayed the same that they're familiar with, where ours is new, but we had things that were working that we weren't going back to the well for, And so I definitely think it's, you got to look at Bieniemy and go, what happened here? It's raining. You're running the ball well. You brought up Alex Arma. I thought it was going to be heavy dose of Brian Robinson all game long. Nothing.
And that's what gets me. And then again, like I said, you go back, you watch the game. I watched it again, and then I'm like, this defense is holding their own. You look at that first half. Our defense held them to 3 field goals when they were driving. Our defense would bend but not break and kept us in that game to the point where it was 16-0. And then, like you said, we're coming out the half and we are throwing interceptions. But even still, Fuller then gets to pick. We force him to a 3rd and 20. Fuller gets to pick. And we're like, okay, great. And then we drive down the field, we run the ball, and then we give it right back to them. And then you're sitting here and you're like, defense. It's like I told you before. It's like a dam, and you keep pouring water in, and you see little sprinkles of it spouting out. You see a little leak, but it's not official. It's not broken. It's not busted. Mm-hmm. But it's a matter of time before the whole thing busts. And that's eventually what ended up happening. Our Achilles heel came. We since the offseason, since last year, since as far back as I remember. We cannot seem to corral mobile quarterbacks, which stinks because of who we're playing in this coming week in the daggone Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts. So, I want to give our defense all the credit and all the love, but at the same time, we can't put them in those situations. And I think that is on EB and Sam, but very much on EB in that play calling.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, it's very concerning that we still continue to have problems with mobile quarterbacks. Our pass rush, our great front four, didn't really have an impactful game at all. Didn't really put much pressure on Josh Allen at all, and it was only, they were able to rush with their 4 and get pressure on us. Why can't we, with our 4, make some plays? Now I will we're kind of giving some praises here to Ron Payne for what little plays were made out there. They were being made by him.
Yes, sir.
He knocks down passes. He puts some pressure on them, and he continues to give us fighting chances, which he's been worth every penny that they signed him for. But you're right. It's frustrating because the defense is putting us in places to stay in the game. And in this game against Buffalo, I really felt it was like missed opportunities, and it's similar to what we found last year where we've got potential. What happens is we have a mistake happen.
Yep.
And the mistake can be made by several people at a time. It's not the same person, whether that's a player, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's, the running back, did they make a good block or not, or whether it's one of our offensive linemen not making their block on a particular assignment. So it's kind of, you can spread that out, but we have mistakes happen that take us out of scoring opportunities.
Yep.
And it's frustrating. That's tough to be a part of.
No, it is. It absolutely is. And and we're going to get into my guy, Sam. We're going to get into some of the things that he definitely has work on because, hey, we've said it. He's a rookie. We understand. We'll touch on that. But I do want to touch a little bit on the secondary and just the fact that our front 4 you spoke about, we know that's the heartbeat of the team. I got to shout out our linebackers, man. Cody Barton had 13 tackles, 7 solo, and then you had Jamin Davis who had 11 tackles. We've been on them a lot for, needing to step up and needing to play. Yeah, I mean, they struggled. We know. I mean, once Josh Allen got in that secondary, he was running all over us, but they were still all the way around the field trying their best to do what they could. But a lot of that time, you think about the first touchdown to Gabriel Davis, Forrest, I mean, he literally runs right by Forrest, and you look at Forrest, kind of look at him like, I should be running now.
Yeah.
I should be, and you see him kind of turn around, and you're just like,
breakdown.
like, come on, man. Like this, I mean, and we got to shout them out. We have been shouting about how they've been doing. But when you, and again, like you said, this is an established passing offense. These guys have been playing together. They know how good they can be. And I mean, that back end, we got to shore that up. And we absolutely have to if we're going to have a chance, because a lot of times, if you look at a lot of those plays, especially the deep ones that Josh Allen threw, he had a lot of time. But our D-line is trying to get in there. Then eventually he finds somebody and he'd hit him, or eventually he'd scramble out because of the time that he has back there. So it's a full team effort on offense and defense, but still, it's just you want them to do a little bit better, and you expect a little bit better, especially for how good they appeared to play at certain parts of the game.
Well, with the defense, and especially our DBs, when we're talking about them, we need them to squeeze the ball and catch it.
Yes.
Cam Curl had a ball go right through his hands. Now, it was a bullet from Josh Allen. I mean, that thing was humming. But it literally just went right through his hands and right to the receiver. So it's like, and we've had that in each of the Percy Butler's dropped a couple interceptions. Mm-hmm. Cam Curl dropped one in the Cardinals game, and then, this one happened. So our DBs are in a position to make plays. Manny Forbes dropped one in the first game of the season too. The very last play of the game, he knocked it down instead of catching it. So it's one of those things where they're in position to make plays. Now we need plays to be made, and we're going into a game where you're gonna have to make these plays to keep us competitive in it. So it's again, it continues to be this missed opportunities of, we have the ability to stay competitive. It's they gotta be able to finish plays.
Right. And hey, you got to get all facets of the game. And again, I can't harp on this enough. This is a team in Buffalo that 3 of the last 4 years has been in the divisional round or the AFC championship game. You know what I mean? This is a top tier team who a lot of people are saying, that window might be closing, but they're still top 3 in the AFC, along with the Bengals, along with the Chiefs. They have proven that they can do it. So the fact that we got stomped the way we did, it is this is what you would expect normally from us. It's just that, you look at the last 2 weeks and you have a little higher expectations because we were able to come back and things like that. But there were some hints in those last couple games, a la that first half against we know a poor Denver team that was able to go up and down the field on us in the tune of 21 points early in that game. So it wasn't like we didn't see this coming in some way, shape, or form.
That's a great point. It's on 2 levels. You had to know our rookie quarterback was going to have a game that he regressed on. Yep. You had to. But also, more importantly, just like you said, it's not like we were 2-0 looking real impressive.
Right.
Okay. It's not like we were 2-0 with the offense really humming, with the defense flying around, making plays and shutting down. We weren't putting up Madden stats out there.
Right.
It was the fact that in both games, we had to overcome deficits. In both of our last 2 games, we were losing to a team we should not be losing to and had to rally against them. So to the point of, you had to see something, like you said, the dam breaking and something happening out there. So there shouldn't be too much of a surprise. And I think, originally, I posted on our Twitter account, just throw this game tape away. But actually, this is what we want to look at.
Yes. Because
there were things that were seen out there that were repeated from the Denver game that we need to be addressing. It's the fact, I'll give Ron credit. I don't have the perfect quote from him. I'll kind of butcher it, but he said, you learn more in losses than you do with wins, because you walk away kind of happy. We gave up 6 sacks, but remember that throw to Terry McLaurin in the back of the end zone? Oh man, Sam could throw it. He can fight him off and he can throw it. We moved past the problems out there as fans because we won. where now you get an opportunity to really dissect it because you lost, to say, okay, this went wrong, this went wrong, this went wrong, and really kind of look into it with a much tighter microscope.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's time to take command.